Well, hello. Today is the 20th of January 2022, and I have had, since just 2 weeks before Christmas, I had an incredible 6-7 weeks behind me, which I will tell you about now. So many things have happened, mostly not that good. First of all, just around a week before Christmas, I felt ill, which is strange. I have no contact to people. I felt like I had the flu. It started with first a little bit of a headache. One night I had some joint pains in my elbows, especially in my right shoulder. That could be from sleeping. I mean, I'm 71 years old now, and yes, I sleep sometimes and hurt myself sleeping. Don't know how this happens, but I guess anybody who is a bit older knows that you just show up and something hurts. So I didn't take it that serious, and then I had one day of incredibly fever. I couldn't warm up. I dressed myself to the hoop, and then it was gone. And 2 days later I had fever again, violently fever. I did not have any respiration problem at all. My lungs didn't seem to be affected at all. I had a little bit of diarrhea coming and going, yes. And then I wasn't sure. This could have been quite a flu, but I got my flu shot about 6 weeks or 2 months earlier, my yearly flu shot, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't always have to work. So it could have been one of them nasty flus, or it could have been the COVID. Maybe, I really don't know. The only thing that made me think when I checked the COVID Omicron version, and I checked the manifestation of this part of the illness, that there was something they mentioned, night sweats. And boy, for 3 nights, not together, it always seemed to be like a day later again, in between, I had night sweats. It felt like because usually when I get high fever in a normal flu, I have night sweats, I sweat it out, and I feel much better after that. It sort of burns out your flu. That's how I look at it. But that was just wetness. I had to change t-shirts 2-3 times a night. My bed sheets were soaked in the morning. Never had this before, and I checked my temperature. I wasn't having fever, just sweating profusely. And that happened 3 nights, not again in a row, but it happened 3 nights separated by 1 or 2 days each. And then I felt better, and so I personally decided, I think I have the Omicron version of COVID, and I separated myself, of course, immediately. First day I felt something was weird. I didn't go shopping anymore. I had no contact to people before that either. The only place I could have picked up the flu or this version of COVID would have been going shopping, touching the shopping cart or whatever, which is actually very strange, because I have bought 2 spray cans of disinfectant vaporizers when I go anywhere. Since Omicron has started, I bought this, and I spray every surface of the cart. And well, I was careful. I was doing all the things that I thought were right. I probably wasn't careful enough. Somehow I picked up either a nasty flu, or I picked up the Omicron version of the. However, on the 15th of January, I had my 3rd shot, my booster shot against COVID, and I mentioned it to the nurse, and she was looking at me a little bit skeptically, because I told her I decided not to get tested. What the hell do I need a test for? Go and meet people, and maybe if I don't have it, then I will pick it up over there. So I decided to stay at home. If any complications arrive, I will make sure my driveway is always free, so I can be picked up by some emergency vehicle, and that's it, in case. but that was not necessary, and so whatever I had, it worked itself out with maybe the vaccinations I already have been taking. So this is just to tell you that because I said the lady, since I had, if it was COVID, I probably have some extra antibodies from fighting this. She said yes, but according to Canadian guidelines, they suggest to get the shot anyway. Which my first 2 shots were Pfizer, and she asked me if I would be interested in Moderna, and I said yes, because I informed myself, and that it helps you're resistant to the virus if you change the companies at the booster shot. So I did that, and now I have the Moderna. Well, this is what happened to my health. Okay, done with. On the 15th, like I said, I had my booster shot. On the 13th, and it was terrible to see. It was a terrible cold spell where I live. We had for almost 10 days close to -20 and to -25 at night temperatures with extreme high winds. I mean, the wind chill factor was out of this world. And another problem is we didn't get much snow this year, so far. It probably comes at a later date, but at the moment the snow we have is maybe 2 feet, if at most, and then the wind blows it all over the place. Well, on the 13th, 2 days before my booster shot, I had to rendezvous with an optician because I noticed my eyesight is getting really, really bad. But this time what I noticed, one eye is suffering more than the other. Funny enough, in distance, my bad eye is on the right side, and close up, my bad eye is on the left side. Who knew? So I went to the optician and got my new glasses, prescription made specially for how I'm feeling now. But she also said, I hope you're aware of it, your left eye has cataracts now. And if I'm interested to put my name down to the hospital for eventually, when they pick up the normal business again, to be going for cataract surgery, I said, please do that. And she also said eventually your right eye, which is starting cataract as we speak, will have to be operated on too, but this will be at a later date. So that was a bit of a shock. Just the word cataract shocked the heck out of me. In my memory, it's a really bad thing. Well, over the years, eye surgery and stuff like this has really made advance. So it's probably, well, gotta live with it. It's how life rolls, huh? And then we go right after Christmas, just before New Year's. It got very, very cold, and one of my systems downstairs where the water is, the water pump, my connection pipe to my water well, which is only 2.5 meters away from the house, but the pipe is only deep, maybe 2 feet, and of course it froze. The water froze. Usually that did not happen for over 20 years, because I have a little fan that pipes warm air from my room. In the winter I let this fan run for 4 or 5 months, and it puts warm air over to my water well, which helps keeping my water well from freezing, and the warm air keeps the pipe from freezing. Well, it happened that this little fan finally gave up his soul, and my water froze. I had to figure out what to do, because I cannot, and the people who helped me, to open up the door, it is so much work to close it hermetically in the snow, in that cold. I wouldn't send the dog outside, I wouldn't ask somebody to do it. So first of all, I needed help with water. And Marielle's brother, Gilles, you know him from certain works he does help me out with. He brought me gallons full of water and stuff like this. And I had to invent something to add a fan from up here where the intake is for the air. And I added a fan to it, and it defrosted the freezing. It worked. Well, actually, that's the second time. The first time I sort of played around with the fan downstairs, plugging in, plugging out, because I fell over the electric plug and maybe I dislodged the connection and the fans just stopped working. And it seemed to come back to life. And it did its job, it defrosted. I had, after 2 days of no water, I took a shower, washed my clothes, was all elated, happy, and the next night the fan finally stopped working and it froze again. So now I knew where the problem was, and I've worked it out. I've added another fan on top. It took 3 hours for this fan because it does a much better job than the old one. In 3 hours, all of a sudden the water started running. Very happy that I just replaced 3 years ago my pump underneath the house for a new one, and a new water tank, the whole thing. And thank God I did this, because apparently the new pumps are a bit more smarter than the old pumps. I didn't know this pump had an automatic shut-off. If no water was able to be drawn from wherever it draws the water, it just shuts off as a security. But as soon as the blockage is gone, it kicks in again. So happy days are back. I'm fully in water, and this is fixed now for this winter, and next summer I have some ideas to take the old fan out, close it up, and from now on I will only use the fan from up here to use as this opening thing. Well, that's in a whole line of all the things that happened to me. Son of a gun, that there was 6 weeks of whew. And right now I'm sitting here, it's very warm out. It's only 14, 15, minus 14, minus 15. I could be barbecuing out there, for God's sakes. And no wind, that is the biggest difference. The no wind makes it just so much cozier. I'm happy my house was warm, no complaints there. I should just get up and show you what I came up with, the solution of how to handle my water problem, because now Gilles filled me up with water one more time. And I'm afraid if it happens again, I want to keep emergency water handy. Alexa, turn on lamp. So I kept 3 of those in here in my shower. I still have plenty of space to take a shower. And this is emergency. Those are emergency water containers. Alexa, turn off lamp. Okay. And this blue container there is another one full with water in case I need to, in the kitchen, to wash. And this is drinking water. Those 4 containers are drinking water, and there is one more drinking water in my refrigerator. And if you look outside, you see the river is almost frozen shut. Well, you have to realize that it breaks down twice a day, the river. But this is because of the tide. We have here tides. Well, I will show you now about the 8-10 minutes of things I recorded. The snowstorm. Also, there was an announced big snowstorm happening. Turns out it was a fluffy storm. No, nothing worth mentioning, but I took some video. Well, hello. Today is, what is today? Hang on. Today is the 17th or 16th? 7th. My eyes are getting bad. 17th. The 17th of January, for good. For this year, I will do some changes this summer. But I will not get rid of the water yet, because we have still a few more things to come. Bad storms, bad cold spells, and right now I'm at the start of what looks like maybe a major snowstorm. It has already hit Toronto with 2-3 feet of snow, and it's just starting at my place to pick up some speed. I'm supposed to get between 15 to 25 or 30 centimeters of snow till tomorrow, but it will last a day and a half, constant, steady snowfall. But like I said, I got water. All my emergency shopping is done. So I'm here and I'm gonna sit out that snowstorm in the warmth with hot showers and cold showers. It is amazing how disturbing life becomes when you have no water. I mean, I have a chemical toilet which I have set up for this reason. I brought over, I set it up. I had to use it for 3 days. I am prepared for things like this mentally anyway. I'm also for heat. If emergency, I have kerosene system heaters set up outside my veranda if the power ever goes out, because at the moment I'm heating, of course, electrically. So this is quite fresh, quite an emergency situation. Although I must say I was very toasty, I was very warm. Water, yeah, problem. If you just want to wash your hand, you touch some salt. Normally you open the tap, your hands are clean. Now you have to look for every drop of water. Don't waste it either, because you might need it for something else. I knew I would be smelling really bad. I just got 3 days ago, I had to go to town to get my booster shot. And thank God, the first time defrosting was just the night before, so I was able to take a hot shower. That's great. So I was actually clean there. Felt good. Look, stuff happens. And in the place where I live, you got to be prepared for this. And basically, I am prepared. If anything, food-wise, I could survive here easily all winter without leaving home. I would not die of hunger or anything. I would die maybe of starvation of certain vitamins. I mean, fresh fruit would not be available, fresh vegetables, but everything else, I got the freezer full with meat and stuff. No problem. I would survive. And, well, like I said, there is this one problem, and that is water. And I've already started melting snow, bringing from the outside and melting snow, but that takes forever. Certainly I wouldn't be able to wash my clothes, so I would have to leave every so often to wash my clothes. I would have to ask friends for being allowed to take a shower there. Things like this, it went all through my head, but I had so many offers, especially one person, Marielle's brother Gilles, he was in my back, he helped me, he brought, without being asked, he brought water, full containers full of water. Well, we are now in hour 2, and the wind is picking up now. The snow is coming a bit sidewards. At the moment it's coming direct at the house, but I have seen a few, there we go, coming from the roof, a few. The wind keeps swirling over the house, I guess. Now well, it's January the 17th. We are about 1 hour more longer than the last time I was here, and it has begun. The snow is coming down. The snow is coming down. It is not such a violent, windy snowfall right now, but a steady one. We're supposed to have 15 to 20 centimeters in the first 3 hours. We are 1 hour into it, so let's see how that develops. I must say, it is a pleasure to be sitting in the warmth with functioning water. That's the big difference, because that could have been sitting in a snowstorm without running water would be even worse than anything else. And I'm just sitting there on the computer and I keep watching it coming down quite good. This might be, since it's not supposed to stop for over 24 hours, almost 36 hours, I assume there could be more snow than they announced. I would say we have about not so much snow as expected. Well, hello, it's the end of I think it's 1 in the morning. I just got up. And it looks like it is the end of the big snowstorm. That wasn't really that big, was it? So it got warm up to at night to -4 only. I should have been up outside barbecuing and frolicking in the snow. But that wasn't bad. This year has been very, very, very low snow levels. And I assume this is partly a reason. Alexa, turn off outside light.
Okay.
This is partly the reason why I have so much frozen lines. The snow usually helps protect the line from freezing. So I had to add over my line a layer of snow. I shuffled it on there. From now on I should be protected. Well,
look at that. It's been about 30 seconds and there's so much more red already in the sky.
well, he's there. He's making my driveway green. Well, today is the 20th. The 20th of January. And this big announced, it's of course 2 days after the fact of the snowstorm that was supposed to be hitting us and bring up to 2-3 feet of snow. Huh. It was a real fluffy one. Not much happening. Easy. I'll shuffle this free later. There is no hurry. Yeah, it was a shot in the pants. That was the big snowstorm of 2022. Well, that was my last 6-7 weeks in a nutshell. It was fun talking to you again. I hope you all stay healthy. I hope you be careful out there. And until we meet again, ciao, ciao.